I'm in the municipal park of Tzfat. And here we are, panoramic view of legendary Tzfat. Here in Tzfat we're all legends in our own minds. Quite literally. Yeah. When you're really close to HaShem, not just in word and not just being a professional talker, when you're really, really connected to HaShem, this is the way the world looks, necessarily. Peace is only brought into being by being attached to HaShem, and only peace is brought into being by really being attached to HaShem. This is just the way things line up. I went into a sewing store today, and there were a couple of dresses that I wanted to have fixed. So the first one I walk in, it's a winter dress. And she looks at the dress and she says to me, "We don't have any materials like this, certainly not in that color." So I said to her, "Let's take a look at what there is." So I'm looking through the materials, and I pull out a bunch of material that's just almost exactly the color of the dress. And the same material, like a velveteen. And she looks at me and she says, "You're lucky." So I kept my mouth shut. She's a religious woman. She thinks she's a religious woman. Just to me, "You're lucky." I said, "Okay, we'll see." So then there was another, I walked in with 3 different dresses, and then I walked in with another dress, and I said, "I'm looking for a piece of material to add on to this." So, and it was like strange colors of purple. She says to me, "I don't know." And it was, so we take out a bolt of material, and it was a color that just went perfectly with it to make a side panel. And it was exactly 120 centimeters, which is exactly what I needed. So at this point, she's already looking at me like a little strangely. So then the third dress, I said I want to make a side panel for this dress too. It has one side panel the way I bought it, and I want to make another one. It doesn't have to be exactly the same color. And there's this bolt of material that's just exactly one of the colors of the dress again. And then when we start cutting the velveteen for the long dress, for the winter dress, I needed 1.5 meters. So it turned out that it was exactly the length of the counter that we were working on. And at this point she's looking at me, and I can see she's getting spooked. So I said to her, are you surprised that everything is working out perfectly? So she kind of looks at me, you know, and I said to her, that's the way the world works when you're learning Torah correctly. And she immediately gets frightened, and she says to me, we can never be sure. We can never be sure until the day we die. And I figured I didn't want to get into telling her that that day for me was a number of years ago. And that what she thinks that the day you die is not exactly the way it actually happens if you're learning Torah correctly. But I didn't, you know, I see at this point she's getting a little bit creeped out, and I didn't want to, you know, blow her mind too much, so I just paid for the material, and I can see she's looking at me like something weird's going on here, and I don't know what, you know. But she was afraid for me because she felt if I was too sure that everything was going to be okay, that I would bring some kind of bad luck on myself. Which this is not Torah thinking. This is not the mind of somebody that's fully saturated with Torah. But she saw it in real life, and now she has to go home and say to herself, okay, what happened with that weird lady?